Hello my wonderful, beautiful friends, guys. Welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady, where Karens seem to think that everybody's put on Earth to serve them. And in today's episode, we've got some wild stories. Karens are getting arrested, attacking others, calling 911. Guys, your heads will be shaking. I hope you enjoy the stories today and subscribe for future crazy stories. Let's dive in. So I moved to Idaho from the south a few years ago. On this day, I was walking into the grocery store, the one known for rollbacks, when a woman got out of her car. She was parked in one of those spots where you order online and come pick up. The woman gets in front of my face, snapping her fingers at me and getting loud. She's screaming, "Hey, you, go get my order. I've been waiting forever for it." Now, I am a little stunned at that, and I tell her, "Ma'am, I don't work here. I'm just gonna go inside to do my own shopping." To which the woman says, "Yes, you do. Don't lie. I don't care if you're on break or whatever. You are wearing a blue shirt, like the rest of the workers. Now go get my groceries. Here's a list." The woman had a list in her hand, trying to hand it to me. And I tell her, "Do you mean my Fallout 76 shirt that has Fallout 76 written all over it? Ma'am, that's a video game shirt, not an employee shirt. I'm not gonna do your grocery shopping for you because I don't work here. Please leave me alone." With that, I walked inside, found the manager and said, "Excuse me, there's a woman outside demanding her order, and she had me mistaken for a worker. She tried handing me a list. Can you straighten it out?" The manager replies, "That's weird. I'll go see what she wants." So with that, we both walk out there, and the manager says, "Ma'am, this young lady said you handed her a list to go get your order. What's your order number, and have you checked in saying you're here for pickup?" The woman says, "Here for pickup? I didn't order online. I have a list, and she's supposed to go get my groceries and bring them to me. She should know that. Do you only employ idiots here? I want her fired for disrespecting me." The manager tells her that's not how that works, and she doesn't work here. I chime in and say, "He's correct. You have to order online and pick it up at the designated time, ma'am." The Karen says she does work here. She parked in the front there with veteran plates. That means she's worked here for a while. The manager says, yeah, that's not right. She has those plates because she's a veteran. You need to go inside and do your own shopping or order online for pickup." At this point, I say, "Ma'am, I've been nothing but respectful, and for the last time, I don't work here. And those plates are my Marine Corps veteran plates because I'm a Marine veteran. The DMV doesn't have grocery store veteran plates. Leave me alone." And that's when Karen responds with, "Women can't serve in the military. Stop lying." At this point, the manager was getting angry, and he says, "All right, I've seen enough. Yes, women can be veterans because they can serve, and I know because I've served many women who are in the army. Now please leave or I will have you trespassed." The Karen screaming, "But my groceries, this is unfair, you should be fired." She then got in her car and we start walking back inside when she leaves. The manager tells me, "I'm so sorry about that, I don't get paid enough to deal with this." I tell him, "It's okay, thanks for handling that." So I went inside, got my groceries, and the manager met me at the counter and gave me a bag of Skittles that he purchased. And he said to me, "Thanks, Marine." Guys, I frickin' swear, like the stuff that some of these Karens say is absolutely ridiculous. You have a veteran plate, and women can't serve in the army, so that must mean you've worked here a really long time. Oh my goodness, that was absolutely bewildering, guys. And honestly, there was no need for OP's second encounter with Karen, as it just wasted her time. Inform the manager of the rude lady and just go on and do your shopping. As the preface, I work in the engineering department of a company that has a couple of manufacturing centers in town. As an office guy, my dress is office casual, with my work badge being on a retracting keychain. Said work badge has the company logo, written large, with my name and photo on it. I recently got myself a Nintendo Switch, and after work, I had gone to the local Best Buy to mull over getting a Pro controller, and to see if they had any amiibo deals. So while crouching down, looking at the controller display, a kid about 6 or 7 years old walks up to me and he says, "Excuse me, is this the Nintendo aisle because it's my birthday soon?" And my mom said that I could get a game, but only if it's not a violent game like my uncle got me because explosions and violence are bad. I let him know that this is the Nintendo aisle and I point him at the game selection. I thought nothing of it. He was a little cute, excitable kid. And then it happened. Mom comes over. I hear her say, "You need to show me where all your games are." At this point, I decided against the Pro controller, and I put it back on the shelf and start to walk away. And that's when Karen says, "Excuse me, are you even paying attention?" I turn to look at her and apologize, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't work here. This is the rack with all the games though." And Karen says, "You do work here. You helped my son, and you have a badge on." I tell her, "Ma'am, the badge is for the manufacturing company across town, and I'm just off work and late getting home." I then start to walk away when she grabs my arm and she starts screaming, "I need a manager," over and over, while her kid is still enthralled in whatever games were on the shelves. I had to twist my arm out of her hand and took a step back. By that point, 2 yellow-shirted security employees and a couple of blue shirts come running up. The woman is going on about how I was gonna get fired and that I had threatened her. That's when one of the security guys gets between us and the other pulls me aside to talk. Mike was cool as I gave him the quick rundown. The whole time I'm doing that, the crazy lady keeps getting louder and more absurd. She was telling them that I was attacking her and her son just because he wanted a game. The other security guy finally told her to be quiet for a moment, as they've been watching the cameras. They then said to her, "That guy never touched you or your child, and he doesn't work here." Karen says, "But he has a badge. He needs to help me out if he has a badge. It doesn't matter if he works here or not." That's when the security guy Mike suggests that while she's distracted, I make my way out of the store, and I take him up on the offer. I came in about a week later again to ponder the Switch accessories, and as I'm walking in, there's security guy Mike again, and he has a flash of recognition. He says to me, "Hey, you have a badge. You gotta work if you're here." We got a chuckle out of that, and then he said that she continued to argue with the security guy for 10 minutes, until they had to have her trespassed by the cops. And he said that when the police showed up, one officer already knew her by name. Oh boy guys, just hearing that the police knew her name means that entitled attitude of hers has probably gotten her in trouble before, and OP's not the first victim of her crazy shenanigans. And also, by her logic, the police also should have served her and found her a Nintendo game since they have badges on as well. So disclaimer time. I'm a black man, and at the time of this story a long time ago, I was probably around 15 years old. This combination of traits meant that I had a 50-50 chance of others assuming that I worked at any store I went to. So on this day, I'm walking home from school, and I stop at a Rite Aid to grab a bottle of water and maybe some snacks. I ended up only grabbing water, which wasn't a game breaker because there was a McDonald's a little ways down. As I finish paying and I'm about to walk through the automatic doors, this older dude, who I think was flirting with the cashier in front, stops me and tries to hand me his keys. At that, I recoiled, as if he tried to stab me, and I told him I don't work there. Undeterred, the guy jingles the keys towards me and says that I need to bring his car up to the front. I, confused by his determination to get me to go to his car, again stated that I don't work there. I just got off school, and I don't need this. The guy then slurred something I didn't quite understand, and I loomed down, gazing down at my Rattlesnake 316 shirts and cargo shorts, with a gray backpack on my back, a water bottle in one hand, and store brand over-the-ear headphones in the other, racking my brain to understand how he somehow thinks a regular store would offer some kind of car service, especially a Rite Aid. Now, I guess my brain shorted out, because next thing I know, I'm basically being pushed out the door by this guy, keys in hand, screaming at me that I'm useless and to do my job. So as I'm standing there in front of the automatic doors with a mix of stranger danger, general teen anger for being treated this way, and just wanting to leave, I take what I feel is the most sensible action. 15-year-old me launches the keys as far away from me and into the parking lot as I can, before immediately exiting stage left and continuing home. Not before making another pit stop at McDonald's. And here's the aftermath. So I guess the guy noticed I left when his car magically didn't appear in front of the store, and he called police, accusing me of stealing his car. A cop car was already at the McDonald's where I stopped for food, so they stopped me as I was leaving. I told him that the guy gave me his keys, seemed really adamant that I go to his car, even though I told him several times I didn't work for Rite Aid and I didn't want his keys. I also mentioned it was pretty creepy how he kept wanting me to go to his car. The police then asked what I did with them, and I told them I chucked them into the parking lot and left. Also, since I didn't leave the front of the store, I was sure it was all on camera. The cops chuckled and said I was free to go. I asked why, feeling it couldn't be that easy. One of them said that if I stole a car, why was I still walking home? Now, I don't know if the dude got his keys or he had to call a tow or a locksmith, and I don't really care. The cops were cool enough. My goodness, guys, I can only think of one plausible reason that this idiot would push OP to valet his car to him. And the reason is to impress the girl he was flirting with. That, or he actually thought a Rite Aid had valet service. And honestly, I was actually thinking the guy was an idiot for reporting his car stolen though. Like all he had to do was go look outside. But then I realized that someone might have actually found the set of keys on the ground and they drove his car away. So on this day, I was at a campsite at a national park, and I was helping this elderly fella unload his canoe into the water off his car because it was heavy, and he didn't want to hurt himself or damage his car doing it alone. Also, on this particular day, I was wearing a green button-up and cargo shorts, which admittedly is very stereotypical forest ranger looking attire. As I had finished helping out the dude, I went to the bathrooms located pretty far away. Now, this being a summer weekend, the place was packed full of people and cars. Everyone was looking to enjoy the nice weather in a national park. As I'm walking to the bathrooms, a woman starts grumpily walking towards me. She just stops right next to me, and she has a livid look on her face, and she's huffing and puffing. And I ask her, did you need something? And the woman screams, yes, I need you to move some of these cars right now. My family has been driving around this park looking for a parking spot for hours. At this point, I'm standing there trying to process what she said as she was talking really fast. All I could say was, what? The woman then screams at me and says, you heard me, snap to it. I don't care what you do. You need to go move a car so my family can park. And the woman actually snapped her finger at me for real. Finally, I process what she said, and I say, lady, I can't do that. The woman says, why not? I swear, you kids are so disrespectful. I tell her, 1, I don't work here, and 2, I don't think anyone can do that legally. She continues on and says, I don't care. I saw the tow truck up the road, and I want you to call him right now to come move these vehicles. Again, I say to her, lady, I just told you I don't work here. At this point, a couple of people started to tune in on the conversation, and one dude even started filming. The lady keeps screaming and says, I know you work here. You are wearing an outfit. Move these cars now. I'm sick and tired of driving in circles. At this, I was starting to get pissed off with the lady. I just wanted to go to the bathroom and go on a calm trip on the lake. I say to her, listen ma'am, I don't even know how to drive, let alone tow something. Her husband then comes over to see what's up, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness. The guy says, what's going on here? And before I could even open my mouth, the bitchy lady cuts in and says, this a-hole refused to help us park. He's very disrespectful. The husband says to me, listen, punk, you'd better apologize right effing now. It's your job to help us. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure it's a forest worker's job to upkeep public areas and stuff like that, so no, it's not. And I tell him, I don't work here, dude. The man says to me, BS, you're wearing the uniform. And the woman screams that I'm a liar. I tell him I'm not apologizing. Your bitchy wife came up to me asking me to do stuff that I can't. The two are just astonished by my outburst, and they stand there in shock. And that's when the old guy comes over after hearing all the ruckus. He says to me, OP, are you okay over here? I need some help with the ice chest. I tell him, yeah, I'll be right over, I'm so sorry. That's when the woman says, so you're gonna help him and not us? How rude are you? The old guy asked, what's going on, OP? I tell the old guy they think I work here and they want me to tow cars away so they can park. The old guy looks perplexed by this and he stares at the couple. The old guy says he doesn't work here. Now, can he please come and help me? This finally spins the cogs in their heads, which is enough for them to space out, in which I take my time to leave. I never saw that couple again. Guys, what a super duper entitled request they had, right? And I'm sure a lot of us have dealt with driving in circles in parking lots before trying to find a spot, but only an entitled Karen would demand someone do something so absurd like tow someone's car out of their spot so she can have it. Honestly, some people's sense of entitlement never ceases to amaze me, guys. So I used to work as a traffic cadet, which is someone who directs traffic at an event at the city's train station. What I have on are blue pants with 2 reflective stripes, a vest with our designation VK for traffic cadets in German, a beret, a tie, and black steel-cap shoes. So the story is, it was noon. My supervisor called me by radio and said that I have a 45-minute break. Another traffic cadet replaced my position and I went to a grocery store. I went to the bread department and I was taking a small bun when Karen approaches me. When I packed the bun in the bag, I felt a hand on my shoulder. And here's how the conversation went. I ask her, what do you want? Karen tells me, I saw a boy in the store who was drinking from the bottle off of a shelf. I ask her, and what should I do, arrest him? Karen says, yes, you need to go do that right now. I tell her, unfortunately, I can't do that because 1, I don't work here, 2, I'm on a break, and 3, I have different clothes, I'm not security. Of course, the woman screams, don't you lie to me. I then politely ask her to get out of my way because I want to pay. I start to walk away, but Karen holds onto my arm and then she hits me. She says to me, do not leave a woman in need. Do what I've said to you. I say to her, excuse me, why are you slapping me? I don't work here. I then go and push her back away from me and Karen says, do not touch me. At this, I'm trying to reach my supervisor and I said, I'm being attacked by a woman. My supervisor says, what? Where are you? I tell him the store name and he says I'm on my way. And with that, I run back to the drinks and hide from this Karen. Karen follows me and she hits me once again and screams saying, why are you walking away? I'm gonna get you fired. The store manager hears the loud conversation and he runs over to us asking, what's going on here? I tell him this woman's repeatedly assaulting me, and that's when Karen cuts me off and says, no, you did. You assaulted me. You're not doing your job right, and this guy I saw drank something off the shelf without paying for it. The manager says to her, ma'am, please stop screaming. At this point, my supervisor arrives and he comes to us, seeing my cheek all red from Karen's slap. He asked, hey, are you okay? I tell him, yes, I am, but this woman slapped me because I didn't help her with the guy that drank a cola without paying for it. Karen screams, it's your job to do that. You need to stop thieves. Again, I tell her, no, it's not. I don't work here. I work outside of the store at an event. Karen screams, liar, liar, liar. She then turns to my supervisor and says, I want this employee fired for being rude and assaulting me and not helping me. The manager says, ma'am, calm down. We can review the camera footage. And that's when the security guard comes in. He says, sir, this woman slapped this person multiple times. Look at the footage. They then watch the footage, and the manager sees Karen clearly holding my shoulder and turning me around. She then slaps me in the face. So with the camera footage, she stopped talking, and the manager asked me if I wanted the police called to look into this, and I replied, no, I just want to have my break. He then gave me a coupon for 10% off my next purchase as a sorry for the whole thing. I took it and left the store with my supervisor. After that, I continued my duty, and I went home after the event. Yeah, like, I understand OP had a job to get back to, but at that time, I think his job was to get that woman arrested after she smacked him multiple times, and I'm actually upset that she literally got away with attacking a random stranger that day. And silly Karen, right? Reporting a crime, and she ends up committing a criminal offense herself. On this day, my mom and I went to our local brand name grocery store to pick up some things for dinner. We decided to split up to cover more ground in the massive store that lay in front of us. As I'm walking through the produce aisle for more miscellaneous items, I hear an ahem. I turned to see the lady from last time, but I couldn't remember where I knew her from. The lady says to me, "I need you to get an item off the shelf for me." Now, at this point, I haven't clued in that she thinks I'm an employee. I just thought she wanted some help. So I go pull down her item for her, and she says, "Now can you go find me something out of the back? You're all out of whatever object in some random section." I say to her, oh, I can't do that. I don't work here, lady." She then says, "Don't you lie. You just helped me. Don't be lazy." At that I say, yeah, I'll pass. And the woman says, "What? I will have your job if you don't help me." Now I do want to say props to retail workers for putting up with this, by the way. And then I said to her, "I said no, tampon stuffer." And at that she goes absolutely crazy. At this point, I look up at the nearby CCTV camera with a poker face. Meanwhile, the lady's going effing nuts. She's screaming, swearing, the works. I then turn to walk away, back to my precious onions. And she screams at me again, and she grabs me by the collar of my shirt, which is a bad move. She then pulls me right up to her face, and she starts yelling me to get my manager. Second bad move. I say to her, "Okay, I'll call the manager if you want. Do you really want that?" The woman screams in my face saying, "Right effing now." So I get out my phone and call my mom and say, "This lady who you've probably heard screaming from your side wants my manager. That's you." My mom says, "What, really?" I say to her, "Yep." My mom says, "I'll be right there." At this point, the real manager comes over to see what all the ruckus is about. The manager asked, "What's going on here?" And the lady cuts in before I can even talk, saying that I cussed at her and refused to help her further, which is true, but also that I harassed her sexually. I explained that I did cuss at her, but I did not harass her in any way. The store manager said I already knew that. And both me and the lady look puzzled, and that's when the store manager points to the live camera. I try not to laugh, but I fail. And I'm thinking, for sure she's done for. The woman hasn't clued in, and she just looks at it and said, "Well, what is that?" And there was silence. And that's when my manager walks around the corner. My mom asked me, "Hey, are you okay?" I turn and walk towards her, but the lady cuts in, literally. The woman grabs my arm with her fake nails, and she goes digging in with them. I groan in pain as I rip her off me, and she acts like I threw her. At this point, the store manager cuts in, and he tells her what the semi-sphere on the roof is. The manager says to her, "That's a camera, and it caught everything. I'll be calling the cops now." And her face was priceless. She gets up and tries to run away. The cops show up, look at the footage, and I press charges for assault. I get my onions and go home. Guys, I don't even know what to say. But then again, I really don't know how ignorant some people are, guys. Like, are there people out there that don't know what store cameras look like? Like, I'm just imagining the thoughts going through her head when she realizes that what they're pointing at is a freaking camera. Poor Karen. And that, my friends, brings us to another end of our /IDontWorkHereLady. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I hope you didn't shake your heads too hard. And if you missed the last episode on the channel, it's an r/entitled People episode, where a psycho Karen tries to teach OP a lesson by kidnapping his son. It's a wild story, so go check it out if you haven't. And myself and Stevie Boy will see you guys in the next one. We love you.